You can see each of these have control moves and techniques that try to gain the upper hand, but you can see them coming. You can't dispense with any of these, but you also know how to address, based on what the moment calls for, who's most needed. The hardest part of implementing this from this point on is how do you, number one, have the leadership maturity to read what the moment calls for, and number two, make room for the appropriate person depending on how they're wired. See, that's the key. That's the hack that you get. This little CVI has given you a hack into knowing who you should bring to each moment based on what you know you can expect out of them, what you can train them towards, what you can enhance and bring out, and also who's not needed, and who is trying to make the moment about themselves because they're only seeing the world from their lens. That's not what's going to help anybody. It's about what the moment calls for and who's most capable of bringing it. Now, this slide, you remember, is an important one. If you go clockwise from builder all the way down to banker, you realize that the builder is the intuitive person, follows his gut, but as you go down to banker, they don't follow their gut, they follow logic. The builder's the high-risk person, but as you move around the clock, you get to the banker who is no risk. And so the merchant and the innovator are in between. The builder is completely open conflict. You never wonder what they're thinking. They get it on the table and off their heart so that they can deal with it. The merchant less so, the innovator even less so, and then the banker not so. So it's sometimes hard to know when you're dealing with a banker innovator if there is conflict, because they tend to function covert anyway, not as a deceit mechanism necessarily, but as a way of saying, as I process this, I'm processing this internally. The merchant processes it in relationship, the builder processes it in motion. And so there's so many nuances to this that as you work together as a team, you'll find yourself fleshing these out in a very satisfying way, but it'll make sense why you're seeing what you are. Remember, on the left side, those who both the power and knowledge scores are practical energies, whereas love and wisdom are creative energies. The top two, power and love, if you combine those are how intuitive you are, how much you're inclined to follow your gut, versus how cognitive you are, how much you're thinking through the logical sequence of thought processes. The power and the wisdom people, they function independently. So you need them to function independently. If you stick them in collaboration consistently, you're frustrating them because the builder wants to go and do. Let's make a decision. The wisdom person needs to step away and refine. You have to give them the room to do that. Opposite is true for the love and the knowledge people. You want the knowledge people to be able to bring their knowledge to the community. You want the love people to enlarge upon a vision and see what could be and invite everybody to participate at the level where they're able to contribute. That's how these work in cross-reference. So you can take this now, you can adjust your expectations because you know what the scores are of each person. You know what they can and can't do. You're not tightening the screw with the butter knife by putting the wrong person in the position. You're getting the right tool to do the right job. If there's conflict, you know how to head it off before it becomes big. If you have a team, you know where everybody fits, and there's room for everyone. There's not one of these core values that you need to get rid of. Top performers, if you hire or put people in positions based on promotion, you know what you're looking for before you even stare at a resume. And then, of course, you can measure someone's efficiency and fulfillment if you can ask and answer the question, what does this moment call for? Now, remember, as the moments work, as the numbers work, anything from 36 to 26 is a profound, if it's wattage, I'm staring at the sun, it's bright, it's how big and capable you are in that category. 25 to 19, the wattage is dimming from sunlight to stadium light to street light. This is very effective for you. If you're 25 to 19, you get quite a bit of this, you enjoy it, it's fulfilling, and you're capable. But remember, as the numbers decrease, so does your capacity. Can't pretend to be something you're not. Now, you can put training in place to help augment, but you either got it or you don't got it. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing at all. This isn't strengths and weakness. 18 to 12 is going to require some effort. So we're moving from street light down more to living room chandelier or even dining room light or reading light. If you're anything 11 and under in a particular category, that's okay. It's more like a bathroom night light or the light on your watch. You just have to make sure that if you're put in a position where you have to do things that require that core value, just realize you're going to go slow, and that's okay. but look for the other people around you whose best practices can inform you how to get the most of that, and really probably work hard to make room for them. This will help you be fulfilled as you move forward. The most practical thing you can do as you want to measure this is you realign your calendars based on how you are wired. The percentage of time that you spend in a given week should match the proportions of the percentage of capacity that you have in your hardwiring. If you want to keep people and you want to flourish in your own right, you want to get the most of what you're capable of, adjust the role that you're in, or at least the time that you spend, to the proportions that you have. If it's decision making and leadership and management, adjust it accordingly. 11% of my time, according to this, should be spent on that. 85% of my time on this should be spent on vision and relationships and investment in people and bringing out the best in them so that they can be showcased and flourish. 4% of my time should be spent on solving problems and getting solutions and putting systems in place. None of my time should be spent really on trying to just go do research, gather data, analyze risk, put charts, timelines, and maps together. It's not that those things aren't important. They won't be if I'm just defaulting to my natural state. They won't be important to me. They should be important to me, and I should have the maturity to read the moment and then get the right person, which, as you see in the example on your screen, that happens to be the kind of person that I was handing it over to so that he could do that and run with it. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Eager to walk with you in this process. Always available for next steps. If you have questions or nuances that you want to finesse, we are here, but we're for you. We're grateful for the opportunity to work for you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future.